We think it's hard to disagree that Donovan Mitchell has done wonders this season, considering how he hasn't let the Cleveland Cavaliers down since being acquired in an off-season trade. He's been the dynamite scorer this team was desperately looking for, and he's also helped them secure the third seed in the Eastern Conference. So let's dive into how the player wasn't shy to flaunt his victory when he told the Lakers to go home. First off, what went down in the game? A few nights ago, the Cavaliers were prepared to face one of the NBA's hottest teams, none other than the Los Angeles Lakers, and they had won 8 of their previous 10 games. Pretty tough competition if you ask us, but that doesn't mean that the opponents were deterred. Things got especially better when the Cavaliers got a break, as Anthony Davis was forced to quit the game during the first quarter due to being sick. Despite the big man not being present, the Lakers, led by LeBron James, were able to remain in the game until early in the fourth quarter, when Mitchell decided it was time to call it a night. We were all waiting for this moment, but it came only when 9 minutes were left. The player caught fire all of a sudden as he tied the game at 90 and then continued to score 17 points for the remainder of the contest to enable the Cavs to regain absolute control of the game. And it all worked out in the end because they won 116-102. With 3:22 left in the game, the player drilled a step-back three and outwardly told the Lakers to go the F home. And we're pretty sure they all did exactly what he said. After that spectacular performance, he surely had them on their way to pack their stuff and have a breakdown in their beds. The star of the game ended with 43 points and is now averaging 29 points per game on 49.6% shooting from the field, as well as 42.4% from beyond the arc this season. Coming up, the Cleveland Star is having fun this season. The team is having its best season in the post-LeBron era, and the superstar guard, who's their newest all-star level player, is currently in the middle of his best season yet and appears to be in excellent spirits. He's been a Cav for roughly 3 months, but that doesn't mean the Utah Jazz fans and players are already over their breakup. Jazz fans were outraged all over social media after their previous franchise player mentioned this during a recent interview. He clarified that this wasn't a dig at his Utah teammates, but still went on to express that he's having fun again. But fans could tell what was going on, and if you're a fan, you know what we're talking about. He was definitely taking a jab at his experience with Utah after the team repeatedly failed to deliver during the playoffs. But unlike the Rudy Gobert deal, the Utah Jazz is unhappy with the return on Mitchell, as both Laurie and Colin have cooled off after explosive starts to the season. On the other hand, he's scoring an all-time high of 28 points per game. That's pretty freaking impressive in our opinion. The player seems to be excelling in the land, and many people who know him claim he is the happiest he has ever been. And we're all happy to see that the star has finally found an environment that brings out the best in him. Finally, what's in store for the Cavaliers this season? The team has secured the third seed in the Eastern Conference, following a difficult loss to the Knicks, who basically spoiled Mitchell's homecoming with a 92-81 score. But despite the loss, the Cavs seem to be in pretty good shape, with all-star center Allen probably returning to the team soon. On the plus side, Allen's injury has allowed the Cavs' second-year player, Evan Mobley, to take significant leaps forward and develop as the team's main big man. He has looked excellent without his front-court partner, but we still have to admit that the entire team's defense has struggled without Allen in the starting lineup. But it's too early into the season, and the team is already within striking distance of the first and the second seed teams, as well as a few games ahead of the fourth Atlanta Hawks. And on top of all of that, the player is guiding it to where it should be, being a contender in the Eastern Conference. It's clear that both the team and its supporters are eager to compete for the championships once more, and the player is reassured that winning a championship is the ultimate goal for this young club, and that they will also go to whatever extent to bring the city and the franchise another banner. Now, moving on to fans begging for AD to return. First off, the Lakers were devastated at the loss. Anthony Davis was disabled by the flu, but that's the only thing that's been able to keep him down lately. He was forced to exit the Lakers game that was happening against the Cavaliers right after the first quarter on the night of the match. We talk about this because this is probably the reason why the Lakers suffered a 116-102 loss. They simply couldn't do it without their all-star center. The player had scored 99 points in the 2 games preceding this one, and not just that, but he had been on a roll over the past 10 games as the team went 8-2 to overcome almost all of their poor start to the season. But because he wasn't feeling well during the match against the Cavs, he only managed 1 point in 8 minutes before being forced to depart. He didn't even shoot by that point and only had 3 rebounds and 2 assists before he left, and many of us already knew that the game was going downhill from then onwards. According to to Lakers coach Darvin Ham, his ailments only worsened with time, which is why he needed the rest. He elaborated on how the player's temperature had reached up to 101 degrees Fahrenheit, and he still wanted to try and last through the game, but he was too weak to go ahead. He had drained and dehydrated himself, and his sickness was a great loss to the team, especially because of how extensively he's been helping the team score. Moving on, fans had some pretty dramatic things to say. Without any sugarcoating, one fan simply said that without the player, they're doomed. Another one commented on how desperately they want the player back on the field, and it all seems considerably justified. We mean, look at how significantly the team's performance quality dropped as soon as he left. But it's pretty obvious that the entire team shouldn't be relying on one guy to be their savior, as was pointed out by one of the fans. He mentioned LeBron had scored 21 points and 17 rebounds, and how a single man can't beat an entire team. The purpose of the team is to work together, which is why the focus should be on making everyone capable of stepping up, instead of the entire game being a one-man show. Many other fans also resonated with this, because they felt that it was sad that they have to rely on Davis to win. There was simply no hope without him. Some fans also felt that the players within the team need to be shifted around, as they urged for them to trade in exchange for some bigger players. There were also the inevitable comments on the contrast between the performance before and after this match, as most of them had fun while it lasted. The scoring had been so spectacular that the Cavs might have actually been scared to be up against them for a little bit. Not to mention, people didn't even want to leave the coach alone. They blamed him for being a bad coach, as he failed to guide the team in the way that they needed. Coming up, what are Davis's plans for the upcoming games? According to the team's coach, the player will probably not be playing in the next few games, as he rests and tries to recover from his illness. He clarified that COVID tests were done and that they came out negative. He insisted that people not make a big deal out of it, because it's just a common cold and flu that he's dealing with. He'll be up and back to playing in no time. The 8-time All-Star, who has only played 76 games due to injuries during the past 2 seasons, was named Western Conference Player of the Week a week ago, after he averaged 37.8 points, along with 13.0 rebounds, 3.0 assists, and 3.3 blocks, all of it in 4 games. The 29-year-old had averaged 34.2 points and 15.4 rebounds in his previous 10 outings, and he had also shot 63% from the field and 86% from the line, so his return is practically what everybody is dying for. Davis's presence isn't just a fortunate thing. The team must go forward in the same way that they had been previously headed. And that's a wrap, folks. Are you supporting the Lakers or the Cavaliers? Tell us in the comments below. And as always, make sure to click that like button and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more updates about your favorite sports. See you in the next video.